All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'll be starting our program for this afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for attending. My name is Callaghan Tanda. I'll be your master of ceremony for this afternoon. Firstly, starting with acknowledgements, acknowledging our Minister for State Enterprise and a member for Again Open, the Honourable William Duma, acknowledging the Minister for Information Communication Technology and member for South Bougainville, Honourable Timothy Masiu, acknowledging these two respective ministers for ensuring or enabling this event to transpire. We thank them for their leadership. Also, acknowledging the chairman of PNG DataCo Limited, Dr. Thomas Webster, and members of his distinguished board, the CEO of PNG DataCo Limited, Chief Paul Comboy, GCL OBE, acknowledging our partners from Oracle, Regional Managing Director for Australia and New Zealand, Stephen Bovis, Vice President and Head of Cloud Sales, Australia and New Zealand and the Pacific, Carlos Cienfuegos, Vice President of Cloud Engineering for JPAC and Oracle, Mohan Srinivasan, also acknowledging the Account Director, PNG and Pacific Islands Commercial and Enterprise Cloud and Oracle, Rajiv Krishnil, acknowledging from PNG DataCo Limited, General Manager ICT and Cloud Enterprise Solutions, David Emba. Adorai Namana Gupla Abinuntru. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, esteemed partners, and champions of innovation. It is with great pleasure and profound gratitude I extend a warm welcome to each of you as we once again gather to mark a pivotal moment in Papua New Guinea's journey towards digital transformation. At this juncture, let me also welcome on board our wider audience viewing on our respective platforms on YouTube and also on Facebook, specifically on the official pages and the official channel of PNG DataCo Limited. For those seated here today, if you have colleagues that would have liked to have attended this afternoon, but unfortunately may have been tied up in some other event, you can actually log on to those respective sites on YouTube and Facebook and send them the link so they can follow this in real time. Now, as the sun sets on this remarkable day, we find ourselves amidst a gathering of industry titans this afternoon. Our telecommunications providers, our financial institutions, even our regulatory bodies and retail magnates united in one particular pursuit. It's a pursuit of progress and prosperity. Now, today's gathering holds special significance as we gather to celebrate a partnership that transcends boundaries and unlocks new frontiers of possibilities. The collaboration between PNG DataCo Limited and Oracle Corporation stands as a testament of power, stands a testament to the power of synergy, innovation, and collective action. For our esteemed partners in the telecommunications and banking sector, this partnership heralds a new era of opportunity, a chance to reimagine the way we connect, transact, and empower our customers. With PNG DataCo's Hypercloud powered by Oracle at our disposal, we have the tools and technology needed to revolutionize the way we deliver service, manage operations, and drive growth. At the heart of this endeavor lies a commitment to excellence, innovation, and customer centricity, a commitment that resonates deeply within the core values of our industry partners gathered here today. From telecommunications providers expanding their network capabilities to banks revolutionizing digital banking services, from insurance firms enhancing risk management to retailers and wholesalers optimizing supply chain operations. This partnership offers boundless opportunities for collaboration, innovation, and growth. As we gather in this space, we're honored to be joined by luminaries from the Oracle Corporation, Mr. Stephen Bovis, Carlos Cienfuegos, and Mohan Srinivasan, whose expertise, insights, and unwavering dedication to excellence serve as a guiding light for us all. Together we stand on the precipice of a new frontier, poised to harness the transformative power of Oracle's cloud solutions to drive innovation, foster collaboration, and create value for our customers and communities. But this partnership is not just about technology, it's about people. It's about empowering every Papua New Guinean with the tools, technologies, and opportunities they need to thrive in this digital age. It is about bridging the digital divide that we hear so many times about, unlocking new avenues of economic opportunity, and building a future where no one is left behind. As we embark on this journey, let us reaffirm our commitment to collaboration, innovation, and inclusive growth. Let us seize the moment as an opportunity to share a future that's equitable, sustainable, and resilient, a future where the promise of technology knows no bounds. Once again, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for your attendance this afternoon. Now, as such, to give us an insight into the need for a cloud service in this country and the partnership with the Department of Information Communication Technology and also the partnership with Oracle. Once again, it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the stage and to take the mic PNG DataCo CEO, Chief Paul Comboy.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Especially our drivers of change who are here today with us, our partners. You've been partnering with DataCo for a while, utilizing our infrastructures. Ladies and gentlemen, my chairman, the board of DataCo, the DataCo team, welcome this afternoon for this wonderful announcement of a partnership between DataCo and Oracle. My presentation will basically to give you an insight of this arrangement, this partnership with Oracle, high level. You have been in this industry for a while, and you know about what is required to be able to transform how you deliver your services to our people. I won't emphasize much about that, but emphasize and touch about the importance of you being in this journey with us and the partnership that we will have with Oracle. In the morning, we were braced with our partners from the government sector. I understand, again, we've got some government institutions here with us today, and of course online. We've got our viewers online as well, and mainly the private sector now. The utilization of DataCo infrastructure was basically stimulated by the private sector, I would say that, namely the big telcos, telecom, Digicel, and now, of course, Vodafone, including the ISPs, and some corporate entities, private corporate entities who've got license with NICTA. And that stimulated the volume and then forced us to reduce the pricing. And of course, earlier this month, we had the pleasure of announcing to all our customers the reduction in pricing again. And I'd like to make it very clear again, if you were not there during that event and you did not get that message, we have reduced our pricing on our products commencing this month. With wholesale internet down by 29%, with the P2P domestic, that's point-to-point, also down by 65%. And also the international lease lines, also international P2P, down by 65%. We did not make any changes to the metro pricing. We feel that the pricing is low enough for now, and the demand is very high at this stage. So that is for those who did not have the benefit of being with us during that session. All right. Today is the sort of the introduction or launching of the big cloud coming. In my opening remarks in the earlier session, I mentioned that this morning we had some dark clouds over us, and we saw some rain. And yeah, clouds can, bring a lot of expectations on how it forms during the journeys, and then what the results come of it. Yeah. But I hope today's journey in the big cloud will shower us and give us a lot of fruitful partnership and outcomes through this journey. It is important that we bring you in this special occasion in this room to give you the options that are available and our partnership with Oracle. Like I said, you already have your digital transformation plans within your organization, within your specific sectors. We are not going to tell you how to do that. What we will be trying to do here is to offer you the infrastructure to be able to house your platforms, your applications onshore in PNG. And then some options on new enterprise solutions that can transform the way you do business and engage with your customers. I think that's the message I'd like to give here. I said in the beginning, we have a lot of responsibility to this nation, meaning to the citizens. We are a government entity, PNG DataCo, 100% owned by the state. And they've mandated us initially to come in and address a particular problem within the industry of telecommunication. Basically to connect up all our provinces, districts, and key institutions around the country with broadband services, and also make it reliable and affordable, importantly, to the people, and bring quality services to our users and the citizens, of course. So you also, in your own ways and journey in the digital transformation phase, are also faced with that same challenge. And hopefully through this partnership, through this journey, we will give you some options for you to make it become a reality in PNG. So I think the key thing here is to remain with us as a partner and explore some of these offerings and services that we are trying to offer and bring to the country. That is why we have the opportunity now to partner with a major hyperscale player in the world. You all know, and some of you, most of you are already using their services already, Oracle Technologies. Okay, they're here now with us. They're not only here for their services or to make money, they are here for the journey. They're here to partner with us. We've done a lot of assessment already with other hyperscalers around the world. And we think that Oracle is the right partner for us. A developing nation like PNG, who has unique challenges and problems, and they are willing to be able to fit in and fill those gaps for us. So that's key. I won't bore you with what Oracle is, or what type of company and their reputation, their integrity. I think you know about that. If you don't know, the internet is there. in your fingertips. Have a look at it, and you should be able to know. When we got invited, that's what I did also. I wasn't initially an Oracle fan, I have to be honest. But I got convinced later on through the journey with them. We didn't start yesterday or the week before, the month. It started off last year. Our exploration with them, investigation, due diligence, made us, DataCo, become confident that they are the right partners for us, for the country especially, and for our people. They're serious in investing in this country, like I mentioned. It's not only about making money. They're coming here with their money. They want to invest in the infrastructure to help us build our cloud. I know most of the financial sectors in PNG already using Oracle infrastructure and platforms. You go on premises, you're looking at DRs. They're offering us a solution now where we can consolidate and you can use at a much cheaper price. And you focus on your main core business function is to deliver that services to our people. Make online payment become possible. Our people are waiting for that, especially those in the financial sector. And not only that, the SOEs, utility companies, people want to pay for your services online. How do you make that become a reality? It's through partnership with such entities. So Oracle is renowned for, as we know, their software database engineering, renowned for, computing technology, renowned for now cloud services engineering offerings. So that is why they are one of the major players now in the world in terms of hyperscale cloud services. They will be bringing on board here to Papua New Guinea a special product called Oracle Alloy. Oracle Alloy is unique in its sense that it complies or meets our requirements in terms of data sovereignty. We already have a legislation governed by Department of ICT. I forgot to mention our partnership and acknowledge them in the beginning. They've been very instrumental in setting our legislations, our policy, our plans for digitalizing the government. But it also helps in driving up digital transformation in the whole ecosystem of this country, in PNG. So government agency, you are to comply with that, and also looking at the private sector now. If you want your data to be sovereign, and importantly, making it private and secured. So Oracle comes with that advantage. They build their technologies on the platform of security, learning from existing players that have already developed data centers around the world. Like I mentioned, it's unique because they're coming in here with their investments, and not only in funding, to fund the infrastructure, but importantly now is for capacity building. They'll be right at the back of DataCo doing all the major complex technical work to support us, and then importantly train us and build our capacity up. They understand the importance of making it become sustainable when they are not around. So they will explain a little bit more and in detail about that advantage to us. And I don't have to vouch for them. They know their business, and that is what they're offering to the country. So a lot of training opportunities and capacity building, training in terms of skills. And now we take advantage of the solutions they will offer in AI, etc. So the Oracle platform in itself, I've explained a little bit about it. It's really about, like I mentioned already, the infrastructure, and now I'm calling it, capacity as a service, capacity building as a service. That is the key part that we see that is lacking from the other hyperscalers. And then they found a partner, which is DataCo. Later on, I'll tell you why they have chosen DataCo to come in and partner. And they will also tell you why. Yeah. And of course, how we make this partnership possible and benefit the end users. So that's very, very key in terms of how we intend to strike this relationship. In their preparation to make the investment and for us to seal a partnership, we've got an MOU with them now. We're working towards a firmer agreement, and that is why they are here. To understand our commitment, to understand the demand in the market, to understand our challenges, so they can be able to tailor the solution for Papua New Guinea, which is unique. They know that. So it's a two-phased approach, basically. Doing the due diligence, coming up with the plan, the procurement of the hardware and stuff like that, the deployment, but the training can start today, tomorrow. We already started working with them, and some government agencies have already also started engaging with them during this process. And then, of course, the next phase is bringing on board Alloy and launching it in the country after deployment. It will take at least about a year or less, depending on how committed we are and the time we spent with them. So putting together your in-house teams, getting ready, it may not be, tomorrow. It may be 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, because you've made commitments already with them, of course, most of you, on certain other areas, but planning how you migrate and upgrade your system going forward, because they're here for the long term. And how we can work together. Yeah. So they will tell you a little bit more about that. I won't bore you on that. Coming to the advantages, like I mentioned earlier, security is number one. A lot of you, when we were talking to you, we brought cloud infrastructure in here in 2020. We started operationalizing it. Very difficult to convince, especially the government sectors and some private sectors, to utilize that infrastructure. Maybe because you don't really understand the technology. Maybe you're too scared. Maybe you're worried about security. Maybe you don't have the resources at that time. But most talking to them was security. And that is one of the reasons why we bring Oracle to the table. That is why they are with the financial institutes. That is why they were with the defense. That's why they're in US, Japan, UK, partnering with, Starlink, all those. They will name them for you. Yeah, so because of the security system, that's number one. And of course, reliability and data recovery. The security systems, just coming back to that again, is making it purely sovereign, unless we want our data to be shared or to go offline. That is, the decision is up to us, but it's purely sovereign. That is what they offer that is also unique as compared to the others. And we've checked the others already. Unfortunately, they will have to have your data stored online with their data centers somewhere around the world. Reliability and availability also is one of their key advantage, which is what we are striving for, to aim for in our delivery of services in this country. We're still working on that in the transmission area. And of course, data center, we will do the same. We've got one in Port Moresby and one in Medellin. That's the plan also for the Alloy deployment. one in Port Moresby, one in Medang, and hopefully one up in the Highlands and possibly in the New Guinea Islands as we continue to grow. So we make it available all the time. And cost efficiency, the cost is very, very competitive. We've done some due diligence, and we've seen that Oracle pricing is very, very cheap compared to its other competitors. And we want to bring that also to you, to offer it with you, and hopefully, you can be able to also pay in Kina. Some of the challenges we have, probably not the banks, but right now, it's very difficult to pay things in foreign currency. And like I mentioned, I think for cost efficiency, one of the things I see is they actually have a cost center in helping us develop now our skills now to train us. Normally this comes with other hyperscalers as a cost to us. We will have to pay. For Oracle, they're offering that as a service, as part of the package. And of course, innovation. They will tell you about this. It's very exciting. They are now also engaged in, AI development, big data. They're into databases and etc., big data analytics to help us, make decisions, innovate, and drive technologies. I said it earlier on in my presentation, data is now the new oil or gold in the world. And of course, going to the future as well. So with that, it comes with a lot of responsibility. And so we need to protect our data, meaning it needs to be sovereign for our country. And how do we do that? We need a partner that can help us achieve that. And Oracle is at the forefront to make sure we achieve that. And of course, scalability, flexibility, and agility. Not everything will come from day one. We will scale up slowly depending on our requirements in terms of the infrastructure. And that's what they also offer. And they're flexible. They'll run things in parallel. They will do infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, like I mentioned already. That's the area of expertise. And they will dwell on it in their presentation. And importantly, to bring up to standard with the rest of the world is compliance. Compliance, compliance, compliance. In the area of technology, you will have to achieve compliance to, get people to use your solutions. And that's also one of our key KPIs at DataCo. And of course, Oracle. So they will now come and bring us to that next level again in terms of compliance. And also you using their systems. So it's very key for us to also benefit from what that offering will be. So for DataCo, they chose us. They invited us to be their partner locally. They will tell you, and they've already said it in the morning, that they go to countries and try to establish their data centers there that are similar to what is everywhere in the world, but through partnership. They don't want to come here and run the data center. So that's why they need a partner. Their strategy aligns with what we are trying to do also for our country. We want to own this. We want to be in the forefront. We want to control this thing. And that's the solution that also they offer to us. And for DataCo, we have built a reputation already over the last 10 years to be able to deliver over 1 billion kina worth of infrastructure, especially in transmission and the 2 data centers in Port Moresby and Lae that are already operational now. And you have been part of our journey. Thank you very much for being that, having the trust, confidence in us, and then allowing us to continue to build and offer you the services that you need. we have another one now on the table, and we are trying to share that opportunity and the benefits with you. We will continue to do that in the next 15 years to strengthen our transmission network, to continue to roll out fiber to all the districts, 96 districts. We are up to 46 now. Some are still on satellite, around 23. Some are not connected yet. We're working closely with our partners. Partners is the one that made us successful so far. Partners like you, partners like NBC, partners like PNG Power, partners like police, giving us the opportunity to set up our infrastructure throughout the country to make the services accessible by you and for you to deliver your services. And we'll continue to do that. So we'll continue to expand the data center, and that's why we are here with Oracle. Fiber broadband access is important. Hopefully, with our telco operators, we can be able to extend wireless technologies through 5G. Those are the challenges in PNG, so we won't stop. We will continue over the next 15 years. So the plan is there. And we've also tied it in with, like I mentioned, the Department of ICT, and through our good minister who embraced us this morning, the Digital Government Act and the Digital Government Plan, Transformation Plan, the policy, cloud policy, and the Medium-Term Development Plan. We're a state entity, and we'll continue to align our plans with that. And then hopefully with you coming on board, we'll give the impetus to push this further. We can only do this through collaboration and partnership. And that's why we bring you here and make you feel that you are going to be part of the journey from day one. Okay? So I think that concludes my presentation. I won't bore you. I'll allow Carlos and Stephen and Mohan to come up and talk a little bit about some of the opportunities they bring to the table in this partnership, and go into a little bit more detail, especially for you tech gurus out there, agents of change. Thank you so far for pushing the boundaries. It's been difficult. We have our unique challenges, but I think together we can be able to overcome those challenges that we face. And we have a government that is already committed through Minister for DICT and our SOE Minister, Minister Duma, through KCH, at the back of us, driving this rollout, this transformation, this agenda. So now it's about bringing in the right partners to help us to get there. So I think with that, I'd like to really thank you all for your attendance today. We will try to do more of these sessions. Oracle will also be back to know a little bit more about this. This is their first time in the country. They're already with you, but maybe at a distance through online technology. But it's now getting closer. And I think you need that support. You need that backing. And we will be the front men here. So like I said earlier on, let's shower from the big cloud that is coming and benefit from it. So with that, please, Carlos and Steve and Mohan, the table is yours. Thank you, everyone.
Introducing the big cloud. PNG DataCo is proud to deliver the first hyperscale data center infrastructure and cloud solutions in Papua New Guinea. The big cloud is coming. PNG DataCo. Yes, you'll be covered.
So good afternoon, everybody. I must say that I'm very pleased to be here this afternoon in front of you all. I've had a fantastic opportunity over the last day or so to listen and learn a lot about PNG and the requirements that are needed here to help drive digital transformation and transformation in general of the PNG nation for the PNG people. So my name is Stephen Bovis and I'm the Regional Managing Director for Oracle. And my geography covers Australia, New Zealand, and you'll also be pleased to know the Pacific Islands as well, which PNG is part of that. As we were going through and assessing this opportunity, we felt that it was very important to align to the underpinnings of the ICT transformational strategy and those pillars or those key segments that the department and the PNG government are very, very focused on. We felt that that was critical for us. And you can see those up here. So cyber safety and privacy, digital skilling, driving innovation and entrepreneurship, digital government, and also financial inclusion. And as part of that, understanding the measurements and the time frame in terms of delivering outcomes to each of these particular areas. So when we were assessing the opportunity, it became very, very clear to us in partnership with PNG DataCo is that we had effectively a very, very strong value proposition from a partnering point of view and with also the PNG government and industry. So thank you again for being here in terms of helping that digital transformation. So very much the way that we've approached this is to look at the core here, which is really around networking, data centre and cloud for all workloads, and partnering with PNG DataCo to bring that capability here to PNG. And the way that we're approaching this is we've got three ways of doing it. So number one is the technology. And the technology comprises of our distributed cloud platform, which is very, very unique. And it gives us a lot of different advantages in terms of other traditional hyperscaler products on the market. We came a little bit late to the market. However, we learned from other hyperscale products in the market and built a platform which is very, very different. And let me talk about those differences. One is it's very distributed. So what it allows us to do is to approach the market around the world and also partner with organisations like DataCo to actually bring the cloud and bring data PNG. I had this problem with my microphone this morning. It's playing up again for me. It must be, I must have some bad karma or something. Alongside the technology is also the security that we bring. And the way that we've built the cloud, as I mentioned, is quite different. And the security is actually built in, which is quite different than a lot of other hyperscale products. And what that means is that by design, because it's built into the platform, is that we can offer a platform which is very, very secure in terms of its capabilities. And then alongside that, it has scalability, resiliency, and as we've spoken to earlier, is also providing a data recovery capability within the platform by multiple sites. The other area where the platform excels is because it was built very, very differently, is around generative AI. And if you think about generative AI, what does it take? It takes data, it takes a very, very solid infrastructure platform, it takes security. And if you think about Oracle's capabilities built over decades, is that we have very, very strong capability in all of those areas. And therefore, we do believe that the platform is very well positioned for generative AI as that continues to move forward as the technology in the market. Outside of the technology, there's two other areas that we'll be focusing on in terms of the partnership. So number one, Paul mentioned this earlier, is around training and skilling, which we feel is absolutely critical for the success of the platform. And as a result of that, we will have our Oracle University platform, which will be open for a government to be able to use to start to skill, and then also available from industry for a very, very small charge. And then on top of that is with our global capabilities, skills, individuals, IP, And what we're doing elsewhere around the world is that we can bring that IP and we can bring that knowledge into PNG to work with the government, to work with all of your industries in bringing best case user examples of what we're doing in the finance industry, what we're doing in the telecommunications and the insurance industry, and what we're doing in governments around the world, is bring all of that capability as part of being that global organisation, is bring that and partner very closely with DataCo PNG. So next steps. So the journey actually can start now. The education partnership that I spoke to in terms of the training, the Centre of Excellence in terms of bringing that capability. You'll hear a little bit more about that shortly. And then because we operate this distributed cloud model, is the cloud's available today. So this gives you and your teams a fantastic opportunity to start to explore what's possible with our public cloud offering as we continue to work very closely with PNG DataCo to bring the cloud and bring data residency here in PNG. So with that, I'd like to thank you so much for your time. I'd now like to hand it over to my colleague, Carlos, who's going to take a bit more detail in terms of the way that the partnership will be working with DataCo and also the technology side. So Carlos, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. All right, so you can hear me? Excellent. My name is Carlos Cienfuegos and I lead the Oracle Cloud business around Australia, New Zealand and the Pacific Islands. And we are so excited about the potential of what this brings to the nation, not only from a government perspective, not only from a education and students' point of view, but truly for industry. The way industry can adopt cloud services at scale, at speed, without any sacrifices, without any compromises to the solutions and technology. And I'll explain a little bit why now and maybe a little bit later on. Fundamentally, when we talk about the DataCo Alloy Cloud or the DataCo Big Cloud in PNG, what you get is an industry platform, a shared platform that is trustworthy, allows you to build applications, allows you to deploy ISV workloads, and allows you to develop your own applications and software solutions on it. It allows you to provide data capability for you to share data amongst each other. Mohan later will talk about the benefits of sharing data from a financial perspective, providing a authentication platform, a single identity platform, a healthcare platform. More importantly, providing a platform for developers, innovators, and startups to create new services here. We are seeing when clouds come into the various countries, the startup community, the young innovation, and students adopt that very, very quickly. And you'll find in your organizations, with cloud made available in PNG, the speed of adoption will be extremely quick. From a strategic perspective, our focus has always been around creating clouds that we can deploy in every corner of the world. And we can't do this by creating these major monolithic clouds. What we learned, as Stephen mentioned, by coming late to market, or maybe let's put it a different way, we're the newest cloud in the market. What that allowed us to do is to understand and learn from other mistakes that other cloud providers have made. And what we see here is that there's huge appetite, not only because of data sovereignty, but sometimes, and very realistically, because of latency. Technology latency creates issues for many customers, and they need to find solutions here in cloud. So what we've done is we bought the cloud and made it small enough to deliver in every single country possible. But as Paul mentioned, we don't do that on our own. We do that locally because we find we get better engagements, better traction, and better solutions when we partner locally with partners. Let me give you an example of how the Oracle Cloud is helping other organizations in the financial sector develop. And remember, Oracle Cloud isn't just Oracle Database. We power open source technologies. So I'll give you a view of UB Bank, or UB Credit, and how they're using Oracle technologies in the marketplace.
UB is fundamentally a credit marketplace. What we do is we enable the flow of credit from organizations that are looking to raise capital from organizations that have capital. What we're trying to do at UB is to help bridge this gap and make it a lot easier for the various parties who are trying to transact with each other to discover and transact with each other at a much lower cost. One of the biggest challenges of managing such a fast-growing company is that we operate in a very regulated environment. All of our customers are either large banks or non-banking financial companies or fintechs. The problems that we are trying to solve is being able to meet extremely high scale at very low latency. One of the biggest challenges that we face is the need to deploy our code and our systems across a wide variety of different infrastructures. And we need to be able to do this with high velocity and in a compliant manner. The platform that we are trying to build is like UPI, but for credit. With credit, it's infinitely more complex. And we need to be able to do this at scale, handle millions of transactions per day, and to do this in a highly regulated environment. That's where the complexity lies. Oracle has been really great in this regard due to the huge number of open source tools and technologies that they support natively. And we chose the Oracle Cloud because they offer really impressive technology underneath while being very competitive on the prices. Some of the technologies that Oracle offers, such as Flexi Shapes, allows me to fine-tune the infrastructure that I need to run my business. Having a cloud service provider who supports our plan for a cloud-agnostic, open-source tech stack is extremely important to us. As we move towards the future, I need a cloud technology that can scale up to meet the workloads without incurring cost also at the same rate. Oracle's superior network architecture and their elastic infrastructure will help us get there.
So here you see an example of a fintech startup who's challenging the common market and delivering solutions across very large sector in India and delivering those on open source technologies on Oracle Cloud. That same power, that same technology, and those same services will be available here. In fact, they're available today in Oracle Cloud, and you can start using them now. But it's not just about delivering the latest and greatest technology without safeguards. What made race cars really, really fast when they first started was the invention of brakes. So if you want to go very fast, you need to be able to turn the corner and actually slow down. The guardrails and security services that we deliver allows you to go as fast as possible and develop solutions and be safe in knowing that Oracle is also shouldering that security posture that you need. DataCo is delivering you the secure networks, secure infrastructure, secure data centers. We're delivering you the secure platforms and solutions, and you are delivering the secure services through your people. Now, wrap that up, and you start to have what we call defense in depth, covering every single stack of your services layer. From an evolution perspective, we see that customers are now evolving from going to cloud by moving workloads to cloud. And they're starting to now develop cloud-native solutions. And you'll see this very quickly in PNG. You'll see that as you start to adopt cloud services and cloud solutions, you're going to start to break up monolithic environments, and you're going to start to embrace cloud-native solutions today. You'll start to embrace microservices, you start to embrace open source, you start to embrace APIs. Now, as you start to do those, as you start to embrace, you'll find that AI-powered applications become very, very handy and at your fingertips. Being able to plug in generative AI services and chatbots into your applications, learn how to code into your core business functions, that is the transformation that we are seeing with many organizations. And with multi-cloud and DataCo's cloud, you'll be able to do that in PNG straight away. Many, many customers around the world, you can see here the likes of Deutsche Bank, 8x8 from a security perspective, MasterCard, Telecom Italia, Mazda, Heathrow Airport, are all seeing the values of OCI in 40 times faster time to market, less and more agile deployments, less downtime for patching, more agile development. That relates to reduced cost and high utilization. Supporting the ICT cluster is a major initiative for us here in PNG. We see a growing and very bright light of technology innovators in PNG. And they need to be fostered. They need to be given the tools and assets, the training and the support. And we'll provide support through Center of Excellences. DataCo will provide support through the data services. But US industry are here to create new opportunities as well. And this is how you'll see magic happen in your organizations. What I'll do now is I'll pass over to Mohan to talk about how these technologies are helping other organizations deliver and governments and organizations deliver services there. So Mohan, why don't you give us a bit of view about your...
Thank you. Can you hear me? Good. I haven't got the Stephen bug yet, so hopefully this will last. Yeah. 3 weeks ago, I knew very little about PNG. 3 things that I knew: lovely country, very warm people, rugby, top sport, and we play cricket. I'm Indian, so I've got cricket in my blood. And I said, oh, I got to go there. Right? What happened 3 weeks ago was we had this wonderful opportunity where there was a delegation from PNG, Dr. Thomas, Paul and his team, Noel from the NID. And when they came and when they discussed their vision for PNG, that really changed my perspective. And that was such a profound change. And that's why I'm here. Well, I was almost not here. I got in this morning, and we'll save that story for another time. But I'm delighted to be here. And what we're going to talk about is how do we use the infrastructure that Stephen and Carlos and Paul talked about, which is Alloy. What do we deploy on top of it? Because you've got a rock-solid, sovereign, secure foundation. And for that, what are some of the most important things that a digital nation needs? Right? So while doing my research, like I said, I hardly had time to research. So the usual thing, yes, you Google around and find some links. But I thought, let me use AI, because in the Center of Excellence which I run, we build a conversational AI agent. And I hope government services of the future, and hopefully the very short future, will all be driven by conversational interfaces, with citizens asking questions in their natural tongue. So what we did was we took a heap of documents and videos about PNG, put them into the conversational AI, and here's what you get. So we looked at digitalization and got obviously a set of results. We got some videos, but we thought we'd look and ask some 3 important questions. One was, what was the Prime Minister's vision for PNG? And that's a very, very important one because the leader sets the tone. And if you look at what the Prime Minister said, digitalization was very, very important. Education was, but being very, very inclusive. And then we looked at the policies and we said, what are the key themes for the digitalization policy? Because I know a lot of work has gone there. And we got all the key themes. And the most important and final question was, how do I get here? I've got an Indian passport, so I need to get a visa. So got one, applied one. I'm very grateful to the government for letting me in. Hopefully I'll be here many times over, working with all of you and also getting a chance to explore your wonderful country. So that brings me here. Like I said, my name is Mohan Srinivasan. I run the Center of Excellence, which is a very technical team working across APAC with customers, partners, and ensuring that moving their applications to OCI is as seamless and frictionless as possible. So let me just talk about this term called DPI, or Digital Public Infrastructure. The term is new and there are multiple definitions of it, even if you look around, but the concept is not new. All of us are used to digital public infrastructure. And what that means is really looking at systems or platforms that are put to use for public good. And we'll get to the formal definition in the next slide. But what it really is that it is a confluence of policymakers, public sector, which is a government, and the private sector getting together to improve lives of everyday citizens and moving the nation into exponential progress, not just incremental progress, right? So DPI is a set of platforms, and we'll talk about some of these platforms in a bit. This is the formal definition, right? It is a shared set of systems with some fundamental tenets. One, They're open, and open means open APIs or open source. 2, they're all platforms by themselves, but they're very, very interoperable, which means they could be layered so that when systems talk to each other, they can get information from each other. Right? And these are all built for population scale. Right? So these are all very, very fundamental tenets. Now, when we talk about digital public infrastructure, it also represents a very, very important way governments of today are thinking. Right? Nations of the past put a lot of time and resources into building physical infrastructure. Roads, highways, dams, you name it. That was physical infrastructure. What that did was made the lives of citizens easier. If I had a highway connecting 2 towns or 2 cities, and it was super fast, I could actually move goods at a much cheaper economical rate and get it to where people needed to. Now take that same concept and move it into the digital world. Okay? And we'll talk about some of these because this is something that every country is looking at. There are goals that the United Nations has defined called Sustainable Development Goals, and it tackles very, very important themes, right from elimination or reduction of poverty all the way to health and many, many other things. The good thing is digital public infrastructure is very, very aligned to these goals, and you'll see the journey of many countries doing the same. For example, identity. All of us as individuals have identity. Is that enough in the new world? No. What we also need to have is a verifiable digital identity so that we can make use of services that the government provides at a very fast rate without physically having to be there. So a national ID, for example, is what is called a foundational identity. And that really sets the base for many services that can sit on top of it, simply because it verifies who you are. That's about it. And you can see many countries across the world have implementations of this national digital identities. And I can tell you it's a very, very important part of a nation's digital transformation. The second thing that you'll also see is digital payments. Digital payments, again, really bring equality into society. The smallest street vendor can transact digitally instead of having to go fill out a big form to withdraw money, what have you, and that actually prevents growth because some of them are not literate. But with digital systems, and especially the underlying fact that every citizen should have a bank account, makes it fundamentally simple for citizens to transact and for the government to provide services. So, for example, in the times of COVID, when people couldn't move and actually couldn't go to banks, this digital foundation and digital payments made a big difference because when subsidies had to be transferred to lower income groups, all that needed to be done was some initiation of a transaction that directly deposited money into the beneficiary. No middlemen, no corruption, nothing. Direct benefit, right? Health, another example where countries all over the world are looking at remote medicine, telemedicine, if you will, so that you take your services to where the people are rather than getting the people to come to where the services are. Okay? Especially for run-of-the-mill standard services. You don't need to get somebody to come and wait for hours just to get an appointment. You have a national registry of doctors. They go out and provide this teleconsultation. So these are all very, very important things. Yeah? And really hard statistics, which tells you that the adoption of DPIs allows countries to leapfrog. What would take normal time, or if you did something in, let's say, 5 years, what would have taken you 5 years to do it in an incremental manner, you could get it done in months using DPIs. And many, many other statistics which show true GDP growth based on this. Okay? So let me talk through about an example that we've seen in India. And this is not unique to India. Like I said, many, many countries are on this journey. India has done it at population scale, which is 1.4 billion. And so has gone through a lot of the pains of getting this technology adoption. Paul talked about this earlier, right? One of the big things, I know there are people from the telecom industry, like payments would have never become so big if the cost of data hadn't fallen down. And Paul talked about reducing of the rates of data. So, same, I live in Singapore, and the cost of the internet is very, very low. But the enablement or the empowerment it gives to citizens is phenomenal. So you need rock-solid physical infrastructure, like your telephone and your telecommunications infrastructure to enable this and accelerate the growth. So India, and let me talk about this because this is a standard pattern. I'm just using India as an example. Fundamentally, build 3 layers. The first one is the digital identity, or Aadhaar, which was called, as it is called in India, where every citizen has a right to have a digital identity. The journey started in 2009, not without pain. It finally took the Supreme Court to say Aadhaar is so important because there was a lot of opposition, right? But after that, things just started going very, very well for a lot of the schemes that the government wanted to do, because after Aadhaar, which is the identity layer, came the payments layer. And I gave you an example of how payments really help. Today, the amount of digital payments in India is probably 70% of all payments, period. And that used to be very, very low 10 years ago. People hardly talked about digital payments. Today you go, you got a QR code, you can scan it and pay it immediately. And that is across the country. Right? The third one, which is also very, very important and foundational, is the data layer. When we talk about all of these different systems, few things that are very important: security, the exchange of data without having to know what type of systems it are. All you need to do is an API call. As long as you're authorized to see the data, you receive the data. And the third thing is the individual's ownership of the data. If I need to apply for a loan in a bank, for example, I need to make sure I give consent for a specific period of time to that particular financial institution so that they can process my loan. And after that, I can revoke it back. So the power of ownership of data is also paramount. So these 3 have a very, very foundational layer impact on these systems. What has happened after that is the same model has been applied across sectors. And each of these sectors have a life of their own. Each of these sectors are seeing exponential growth, whether it's agriculture, whether it's logistics, education, skilling, procurement, you name it. These are just some examples. But the pattern is the same. Build open, interoperable software stacks. And then when they need, it's like a highway, right? Highways can be completely separate from 2 cities, or they can intersect at some point, which takes the traveler into a different path. Exactly the same with the digital infrastructure. They don't need to be interlinked all the time, but when they need to be interlinked, it's very, very seamless to transfer data and information, right? So this becomes a very defining moment, and it hits on some of the key things that are there in PNG's policy, or what the Prime Minister's vision has, which are things like financial inclusion, which are things like ecological impact, cost savings, so on and so forth. All of these. Yeah? It also makes the governments very efficient. Why? Because as a citizen, you need to trust the government. Today in Singapore, when I'm asked to give my ID so that I can get a service from the government, whether it's applying for, a visa for my parents to come in, or what have you, I have to give my ID. I just trust the government because I know it's safe, I know it's secure, and in an infrastructure like Alloy, with a very, very capable operator like DataCo managing it. And that is important. So once the government trust is there, the citizens will see the benefit because everybody then operates as partners, like Paul again talked about. And that's very, very fundamental. It's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. But when it happens, there are huge, huge benefits. Right? And that's where you start small. There's a lot of resistance. People don't like change. But when change happens and say they see the benefits, then it just is magic. Right? And that's how societies transform. That's how countries transform. And I see in the PNG vision, PNG wanting to be a beacon in this part of the world in Oceania as an example of how digital economy should be. And this is really where it helps. Now, the good part of it is, and you must be wondering, why am I talking about public sector and government and all of that? If you remember, DPIs are not just government enablers. I mean, government takes the lead in framing policies, in making sure that the rights of individuals and citizens and institutions are protected, but that's about it. It is all about partnership with the private sector. It's about creating ecosystems. It's about creating entrepreneurs. It's creating new solutions that nobody could think of. If you go back to the GPS example, which was developed by the US military, but later on, for public use, did they even think of the type of applications that GPS would enable? Not at all. And that's exactly the same with these stacks. You leave it to the ecosystem to innovate because that's what they're good at, which is why you're seeing, once this opens up, you're seeing investments coming in all these sectors because private companies need to be profitable. And when they're profitable, it becomes a virtuous cycle of investment, rewards, and then growth. Yeah? And these are examples. Every sector that we've seen in India has benefited from this, whether it's education, whether it's e-commerce, payments. Payments has seen explosive growth. The example that Carlos gave, which was UB has benefited by providing what is called a co-lending platform, which means they don't provide the loans directly. They help medium MSMEs, micro and medium, small and medium enterprises, get loans through different institutions. Their platform enables that. Why? Because they use the underlying power, DPIs to do authentication, verification, and all of that to make that frictionless, right? And many other examples of that, logistics, right? The other good statistics, and this is very, very rewarding to see, is when you are in the digital world, there is no gender. People have talent. And again, it is about uplifting society. And in the case where we need to have more women in the system, not just because we need a count, because there's genuine talent. And the data proves it. If you look at the data again in India, which is now a huge startup economy, 48% of recognized startups have one woman director. It's huge. And again, this brings, again, a virtuous cycle. When people see, their peers or somebody they can look up to, they want to be part of that system as well. So when they see a woman leader, kids growing up want to emulate them. So it's, again, something that's really, really important, not just from a financial perspective or a numbers perspective, but from a social perspective as well. But the same thing, right? When we create these ecosystems benefit everyone. Whether you're an end user, a citizen, you're an entrepreneur, you're the government, you are a private business. And in the software world, whether you're a product builder or whether you're a systems integrator or a managed services provider, there is a lot of business that can collectively happen when all of these get together. So these are all the power of ecosystems, because no one can do it all. Not Oracle, not DataCo, not the government. It's all of us that create these ecosystems. Finance, again, great example, and this again was enabled by the explosion of the telecom infrastructure. If you don't have the telecom infrastructure, this wouldn't have happened. But look at this example where in 2018, they were lower than 5 transactions per 100 people. And look at what happened in 2021. There's hardly any red or orange, it's all green, where there's 1,300 transactions per 100. And I'm telling you, this is a very, very low number as compared to today. Because when you go to India, which I do often, but I see this in other regions as well, in Singapore, in China, in Indonesia, people just use their mobile phones, done. Digital payments drives it. Here's another example. There was this entrepreneur, it's a 1,100-person company called Zerodha. And Zerodha is now the biggest stockbroker, and it's a unicorn, which means it's more than $1 billion of valuation. And they benefited using things like identity and know your customer, which was provided as part of that DPI infrastructure. So that when somebody needs to open an account, you don't need to physically send somebody to verify who that individual is. All that needs to be done is an API call to the Aadhaar system. The Aadhaar either authenticates or say, no, I don't know who this person is. And the processing time, the costs, everything is dramatically reduced. And what took 1 month, 2 months is now done in a matter of hours. And people can start being part of that inclusive financial system. Tremendous growth. And again, it's an opportunity for all entrepreneurs. It is not just about government only. Logistics, again, same thing. Have a platform, have the ability to exchange data across, expose it to the ecosystem to innovate. So that's exactly the pattern you'll see. The government set some motions with policy, setting up core infrastructure, putting guardrails so that you can protect citizen rights, but then leave it to other players to do what they do best, whether it's people like Oracle and DataCo, who can provide that robustness, security, scalability in the platform, or to people like you who innovate on top of it and provide services. Yeah? And this, again, is a logical representation of the different layers. And that's really how these scalable systems are built and innovative systems are built. Okay? And here's an example of a fleet management system.
Imagine you have a fleet of 10 vehicles owned by a government of Ahar. These vehicles travel different routes, originating from different destinations such as Kerala, Arunachal, Berena, Sulimati, Varo, among all others, converging to Port Moresby. Let's consider a scenario where one of these vehicles, let's call it Fleet 5, en route from Berena to Port Moresby. Through our fleet management system, we can track various metrics in real time. As Fleet 5 progresses on its journey, we can monitor its current location, battery voltage, and various other data points. As you can see on the screen, as time passes on, we can see the vehicles moving live, and also the yellow, it changes to yellow if the vehicle is risky. We'll come back to that later. So as you can see, the vehicles are moving, and at 11 p.m., all the vehicles reach to the Port Moresby. So this is about geolocation tracking. Now let's switch gears towards the predictive maintenance aspect. So for this case, let's imagine Fleet 7, which has been serving from Varo to Port Moresby extensively. So we get various live metrics, as I mentioned, like battery voltage, engine temperature, fuel level, brake wear, vehicle speed, and tire pressure. So using all this data, live data, and historical data that is available through different vehicle routes that have been in the past, our AI algorithms analyze all this data and provide a real-time telemetry to predict maintenance needs. For instance, as you can see, at time 7:59 a.m., the fuel level has dropped below 30, which is, according to our algorithm, a risky indicator. So you can see that at 7:49, which is approximately around that time, it spikes, the risk indicator spikes up, saying that this vehicle is risky to drive. And we can see all the various behavior patterns of the vehicles using these graphs. So let's go to the vehicle 360. Again, let's consider the same fleet So we can also see that at any point of time, how much distance is remaining for the vehicle to cover, what's the estimated time that is required for the vehicle to arrive at the destination location, which is Port Moresby, and what's the average vehicle speed, what's the fuel level at that particular point, and the risk percentage, like how risky is the vehicle. And we can see like the distance remaining by time. So as time progresses, the distance just goes on reducing, which is practical. And also the estimated time also you can see like it decreases, goes on decreasing as the destination arrives. So by implementing this solution, the government can ensure the efficiency and reliability of its fleet while minimizing the downtime and operational costs. Additionally, it allows proactive decision making to optimize the resource allocation and enhance overall logistics operations.
And especially in logistics, fleets are really, really important, right? So you need to have the ability to monitor fleets so that you can plan your capacity. You can save costs by making sure that repairs are done even before some breakdown happens. So all of these systems enabled along with GIS systems that can then plot things on a map so that you can figure out where your fleet actually is rather than trying to call a person who won't pick up their phone. Yeah? So again, these infrastructures help in really moving things very, very quickly to where customers need it. Healthcare, again, a big and a national imperative. Telemedicine is changing lives, absolutely. Right? Again, there's a national telemedicine system in India, and something very, very similar can be done here as well. Just take an example.
We'll do what a doctor does once the scan of the diabetic retinopathy or an eye scan comes in place. So first, the doctor will choose the image to upload. Once they have chosen it, we'll click on upload and the image will be uploaded. Once that's done, we'll be able to process the image. To do so, do the exact same thing as what we did earlier. Upload the image, click on post, and refresh to get whether this eye scan has diabetic retinopathy or not. And you can see over here the results. And this patient has diabetic retinopathy in the moderate stage and will require surgery. Once the patient knows that he or she requires surgery, he can filter the hospital to go to based on province and the specialization type. And they can now click on the hospital that they would like to make an appointment with and confirm the appointment accordingly. Now onto the government side. So now the government will be able to feed in data into Oracle Analytics Cloud and visualize this data in forms of charts, line graphs, and tables. So as you can see, based off like the information that we had put in, this shows like our data for the health analysis data from Papua New Guinea. So let's look at one particular graph. So in this graph, you can see that the government spending in the past was about $45, but when you hover over to the expected one, it's about $25. So this allows the government to think about policies with regards to government spending in healthcare.
Taking the service to where it is needed, not asking everybody to come where select services are, except in the cases where they have to be. But in health, there's so many areas that digitization can go out and help. Insurance is one. All of us have pain points with insurance providers. Yes, signing up for an insurance is easy, but actually getting that claim back is not. Right? So again, with all of this data being digitized, the governments can make much more informed decisions on how to provide affordable insurance to the people who need it, who can't afford the high premiums that are charged sometimes. So that, again, is a huge enabler, and again, is very, very inclusive because it does not just go out and give people who have the money the best healthcare, but on the other hand, it actually gives people with really relatively no money or no facilities access to the best doctors and systems that they can provide for. So where do we go from here? If you've not heard that AI is taking over the world, all right, then let's have a chat outside. But in the meanwhile, that is true. I mean, it is again not about technology, but it's really the power of how AI can transform many things, right? the good thing about AI is you can talk to all your data, and your data can talk back to you as well. Right? So gone are the days where you just have standard reports. You can actually have unstructured data. AI can process the data, can make sense of the data, and take action based on making of the sense. Again, I go back to this conversational AI interface, and what we're trying to do here is we uploaded, let's see if the click works. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so we uploaded a set of documents that were unstructured data. Is that coming? Let me do this. Yep, okay, there it is. Just a little bit of lag. So what we did was, we tried to do analytics out of documents that were unstructured out there in public domain. And this is an example of the documents that we had loaded earlier. But in this case, we also had some documents on tourists from PNG. Remember, this is just a PDF document. This is not a CSV file. This is not structured data, but a set of unstructured data which has tables, charts, text, what have you. Using AI, we could actually process it and then feed it into another analytics system, which again provide a lot more detailed analysis.
We will now explore the key analytics pertaining to the tourism landscape of PNG. According to this dashboard we have here, tourism in PNG witnessed visits from tourists representing 26 different countries, exploring 23 main areas across 4 different regions. We can also see these 2 visualizations for top 5 countries visiting PNG in 2023 and in 22. Australia remained the top contributor to PNG's tourism industry in both 2023 and in 2022. We also have visualizations representing tourist arrivals from different countries, providing insights on the diversity of PNG's visitor demographics. For example, here for China, we have for the year 2023, 1,200 people. Similarly, for 22, we have 120. Likewise, we also have another visualization highlighting the activities most favored by tourists, such as diving, culture, bird watching, etc. We also have visit purpose by country visualization chart and region-wise visit purpose. So understanding the purpose of visit for each country's tourist is really important, which helps in enabling the targeted marketing strategies based on the visitor motivation. So for example, here for Australia, we have for employment, 12,843 number of people. Similarly, for holiday, we have 8,445. And for India, we have 2,696. Likewise, for EHP, we have employment 1,504. And for business, we have 521. All right. So you can see, right, that data now, anything is an asset. Images, documents, text, structured data. And using AI, it just becomes a fabric on top of it. All you're going to do is talk to that data, or the data talks back to you. And that's the power. As you modernize your systems, again, Paul was talking about modernization. It's not easy. There'll be systems that you've built that are running really, really well, but are 10 years old. How do you take advantages of cost benefits that a cloud, hyperscale cloud can provide, like, pay per use? You need to look at a modernization exercise, and that's where we are here to help you out, setting up center of excellence so that you can go with us on the journey, so that you can start integrating all of these new technologies and not just worry about taking what you have and then putting it on a different platform. When you move, you also think about modernizing. Right? Again, education is another great area, and this was something, this is open source. We talked about the DPI. So the largest education platform for K1 to K12 runs on OCI in India, serving millions of children, hundreds and thousands of teachers across the country, multiple languages, and all hosted on the public cloud. And this has policymakers, this has teachers, this has students, and this has parents, all on the platform, right? So what we've done, and it took us about a week because it was open source. We've done similar things in India because it's running on OCI, and we took a bunch of textbooks that we could find in the PNG domain. So if you can look at it, obviously, these are all textbooks that are coming from your education system. And what we can then do is, yes, we put that into the system, but we can also now start talking to the system. And based on guidelines from the education departments, we can have AI-assisted education that gives a much more experiential and immersive learning capabilities. With audios, videos, you can ask questions. And here, because sometimes teachers just look at, oh, this is the chapter I need to teach, rather than making learning fun. So you can ask the AI assistant, can you suggest some fun learning activities? So that it becomes a very, very interactive class, right? Or you can ask serious questions about mathematics. And again, here are things that AI can do because it can start looking at this huge amount of data, synthesize it, and provide very, very constructive answers. Of course, in education, you've got to be careful because here you're dealing with the future of the kids. So you need to make sure that the AI is safe to use, does not give answers that you wouldn't want children to see. So it is governed by policy, and it is governed by a framework of safety for children as well. And that's exactly what we will need to do working with educators in PNG to make sure that while you can have a very, very immersive experience, you can also make it fun. And more importantly, education then becomes something that is very unique and personalized for every kid and every teacher. That is the power that AI brings. It's not take this textbook, learn this lesson, get a degree, move. No. You can really have very, very different experiences based on the interests of the child, the capabilities of the child, and the pace of learning. Now, what I showed was not mock screens. So I would invite each of you to see what we reported. We did it in a week, so it's not a complete educational system. But if you could take out your handphones, scan the QR code, and click on the link, it will take you into the educational site that we built for PNG in a week, using the power of digital public infrastructure, open source software, and OCI. And play with it. Like I said, it's not production by any means, but it's a glimpse of what we can do together in PNG. Yep, I still see some phones. I can see the portal, so you should see a screen like this. Yep, good. All right. Anyway, if you captured the URL, I really welcome you to just see what things can be for all our children in the future. And this is a final call. Again, I'll go back to what Paul said. This is a team sport. And what we want are nation builders. Because what you're going to do as part of this change, and this profound change, is going to impact things for generations to come. And I know, and I was talking to many people today, and I sense a lot of pride in people in PNG. All we ask is for you to take that pride, invest, and make things better for everybody else. And as far as Oracle and PNG goes, we are in tight partnership with DataCo. We are the enablers at the end of the day. You are the nation builders, you are the innovators, you are the businesses. So let's all make it happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohan.
Thanks, Kailash. Yeah.
Thank you. So, team, today we've shown you, we're in the home straight now, but what we have shown you is the capability cloud. So as an example, let's talk about what other financial institutions are doing with cloud. They're taking product disclosure statements as an example, feeding into AI and making it simpler for customers to understand. Organizations are taking competitive information from different banks, bringing it together into AI and seeing how the products compare against the competition. We're having call centers leverage AI to understand manuals so that the call center staff can actually better serve their customers. We're using AI to monitor power lines, water pipes, roads, bridges, to see which ones need more maintenance. We couldn't show you all these examples, but I know that all the use cases are there. In fact, I see fisheries here as well. We're using AI, we're helping organizations with AI to quantify the fish in a particular lake to make sure that it's not being overfished in Australian lakes as well. Very, very cool use of technology. But why is cloud adoption so low? Typically, we find cloud adoption is low across the world because these products have not been there to answer the need for each of the organizations. What is required, you need better solutions and better solutions in your country to actually adopt cloud services. As Paul mentioned, we tried to do cloud here before, but we haven't had the adoption. And I will show you how all that Mohan talked about, all the visions that you have and all the ideas can be delivered through the Oracle Cloud in PNG via DataCo. So at a high level, Oracle Cloud is about bringing applications and infrastructure together. At the very simplest level, you can move your VMware workloads to Oracle Cloud without changing your VMware environments, without changing your passwords. You can bring your ERP solutions to cloud. You can bring Oracle E-Business Suite to cloud. You can bring your third-party applications and ISV to cloud. But what you can start to do is you can start to bring in additional services that you haven't used before. The cloud is a collection of services provided over a network and operated by somebody else. It's a very simple description. And you've seen here before different cloud providers that we talked about before, Microsoft, Azure, Oracle. But the power of cloud at Oracle comes when you start to bring applications together. So at Oracle, our unified cloud strategy allows customers and will allow you to have data applications fully integrated, be able to bring AI and generative AI directly into your applications. It will also help you just modernize your environments by providing disaster recovery capabilities very, very quickly without actually having to take those workloads offshore. The benefit of Oracle Cloud here, though, is that it gives you the full deployment choice. And the deployment choice here is in DataCo. We bring in the Oracle Cloud to DataCo. It provides full extensibility so you can build those services that Mohan talked about. But more importantly, we keep talking about governance, security, and controls. It gives you the guardrails to actually safely deploy your applications in your environment. OCI has been developed and built ground up. We're running some of the world's largest AI workloads. We're running AI clusters of about 50,000 GPUs for those who are technically minded. We're running some of the heaviest workloads, infrastructure workloads, TikTok, Zoom, running on Oracle Cloud. We're running financial systems, core banking systems, core healthcare systems. And all of them are benefiting from security, performance, and flexibility. Many of the brands that you know, and many of the brands that you will be here, many of the PNG brands will feature in the slide like this very, very soon. Who knows about Uber? Uber is a very, very large organization, an on-premises organization. They could choose any other cloud provider, but they chose Oracle. They do about 2.5 billion ride shares around the world every single quarter. And they need to grow by 20%. So when you're growing 2.5 billion when you're doing 2.5 billion ride shares each quarter and you need to grow by 20%, that's a lot of capacity. Oracle is here to actually provide that to them. For those that follow the Premier League, I'm sure you've seen Liverpool or Manchester City playing and the Oracle logo comes up on the corner. All the data stats, all the player passes, every single action that happens in the field is captured in the Oracle database in Oracle Cloud Services. Telecom Italia, providing services in Brazil, in Italy, and other parts around the world, using Oracle Cloud to underpin its platform. But more importantly, let me talk about NRI. NRI is delivering the Japan Stock Exchange, delivered on a private cloud offer delivered by Oracle. Vodafone is consolidating its entire European network environments, exiting the cloud, moving into data centers that Oracle is providing for them, because we can actually do it better, cheaper, and more cost-effective. And governments, such as Bangladesh, which you'll see later, are using these technologies to deliver government solutions in the same way PNG government can use and adopt in the future. But you may have an opinion of Oracle. Oracle is an old legacy database provider. Maybe you've been using Oracle for many, many years. Now, Oracle Database continues to innovate, and actually last Friday we released the latest version called 23 AI, when you can actually talk to the database and interact with it in natural language. But underpinning Oracle Cloud are all our open source infrastructure services. And I'm sure all of you are using some of these services today in your businesses, delivering microservices through Kubernetes, deploying Terraform scripts in other cloud providers, using Linux. All those services are available in the cloud and will be available in the DataCo cloud as well. Not only do these services are available for you to deploy and build your environments, you can also bring your own Oracle licenses to cloud. So if you've got Oracle databases, you've got Oracle e-business suite environments, you've got Oracle WebLogic, you can bring those workloads to cloud very easily, very seamlessly, and in fact, you can bring those licenses as well onto the Oracle Cloud, maintaining that cohesiveness of the engagement. On top of the Oracle Cloud, you can start to bring your ISV applications. What is a typical ISV application? It could be Finacle, it could be Amdocs, it could be Comptel for those in the networking space. Custom applications that your teams have developed, again, can be deployed on it. I'll give you an example here of how we are working with government in PNG, and this could be the same thing for PNG Power, PNG Post, could be the same as Bank of South Pacific. We can take your entire stack and map it to show you exactly how each of the services that will be available in PNG, how they can be mapped into your architecture so you can develop different patterns and bring applications to the cloud, either one application at a time or a fleet of applications at a time. At Oracle, one of the things we're doing is we are patching applications at scale and databases at scale. We run some of the world's largest database fleets. Very soon, we'll be patching over 1 million databases live in the Oracle Cloud. And we cannot afford to have any downtime. Those benefits are available to you as well. Gone are the days of very long patch windows, very long outages to do upgrades. When you move to cloud, you move into this continuous development life cycle. And that's how you start to get agility in your business. So what does this all mean, and why does DataCo and Oracle fit into this? It's part of our Oracle strategy. I talked about earlier, our strategy is to develop the clouds that we can deploy at every corner of the world, even here in PNG, in Port Moresby and Madang. And we do this by actually architecting a solution to allow us to roll out the clouds around the world. As a hyperscaler, we have the most number of regions, cloud regions, than anyone else. And this is because we have engineered our solutions to be as small as possible, to be deployed in every country, in every corner of the world, but only with selected and vetted partners, such as DataCo here. I mentioned before NRI. Other organizations doing this are the Oman government, as an example, Vodafone. But let me show you the Minister of ICT for Bangladesh and why they have chosen Oracle Cloud to run the Bangladesh government.
We are the country of 170 million people, and we have 50 ministries and more than 300 government organizations and so many government companies. And they have a requirement of storing their data, processing their data, host their websites and different solutions and platforms. And that is why Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina decided to set up a government data center. There is a trust problem, an issue among the citizens when we are requesting our citizens to access our government services. They are asking for their security and their reliability. That was the challenge in our data center. And after having the Oracle Cloud in our data center, now government services are much more Simplified, we chose dedicated region cloud at customer because there was an issue to secure our data and protect our citizens' information. And after having this dedicated region cloud at customer, we have been able to protect our sensitive data of the government and also secure our citizens' privacy. And we have been able to localize our data in our country's territory. We are transforming all of our government initiatives and solutions powered by AI tools under the Smart Government Initiative. We want to make all of our services interoperable and interconnected. Every citizen should have access to all of our government services, and that is why we decided to have Oracle Cloud to make all of our services agile, efficient, and secure.
Oracle can bring nationwide services and solutions here. But what does this mean for organizations like banks, like utility service providers, like industries? It means that you can now have a cloud platform in country with services like Mohan described. Why do you need to worry about identity if the government's going to provide a very robust identity platform? You would be then focusing on micropayments, services. Your citizens, your customers, your end users are all asking for online solutions. They're all asking for online payments. Many times you're going to start to invest in digital smart meters, for example, if you're in electricity. You're going to invest in digital sensors across the board, bringing all that data in, being able to do proper reporting, real-time analytics. That is what's going to be available through this cloud here. In fact, we're working with some utility providers where we are helping those utility providers find lost revenues inside of the user base. We're working with taxation departments, we're working with different banks as well to optimize the way data and the customer's information is known. With Alloy, you can have access to the same cloud solutions that Oracle has anywhere in the world, here in Papua New Guinea. Fujitsu, as an example, is doing this in Japan. Team Cloud is doing this in New Zealand and going live this year. They're going to be providing the same services that DataCo are going to be offering out of New Zealand. Japan NRI, I've talked about them a few times now, the stock exchange and financial services. In Saudi Arabia, STC, one of the largest telco providers, is also using Alloy to service its customers, not only for government, private sector, and startups as well. And the way we do this is by providing and supporting the partner. Oracle engineers, designs, and creates Oracle Clouds. Our partner, in this case DataCo, will actually wrap all that and be engaging directly with you. They'll become your first point of contact. They'll become your contracting agent entity. And as Paul Penn talked about, you'll be paying in Kina to the cloud provider here. That is transformative in the way you plan your businesses. So what's coming up? The big cloud. And the big cloud is a partnership here of Oracle and DataCo. And it's going to be available for government, industry, commercial, and our startup community. So thank you for your time, thank you for your patience, and I thank you for your attention. This is a transformative day, and we will look back at this day as the start of the digital PNG. Paul, over to you. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Mr. MC. I should know better.
Thanks very much, Carlos and team. Once again, thank you very much for your attention. Speaking of cloud, I thought I'd break the monotony a bit. Not monotony, pardon me, my apologies. It was actually a great presentation. What I meant was, we're talking about clouds, the new clouds that's coming up, and one time on radio, I did a riddle. I don't know if anyone can get this. What do taxi drivers and farmers in Papua New Guinea have in common? Any guess? All right, you're a tough crowd. Now, the answer was everyone came up with many different answers, and this is from my own experience of talking to farmers and to taxi drivers, one way or the other. I ended up with both. Apparently, taxi drivers and farmers, the thing they have in common is that they all pray for rain. Farmers pray for rain so their crops grow. Port Moresby, we love our rain. Sometimes it's a bit too much, but sometimes, most times we like it. And of course, taxi drivers in Port Moresby, they love the rain. That's the time when everyone rushes for the cab. So I said they both pray for rain, but from my experience, I tend to notice that the taxi drivers pray harder than the farmers. Sad fact. With that being said, I hope today you've seen the potential of what the initiative done this afternoon. Once again, a lot of years been put into this. We've got a great government, a great minister that's managed to lay the groundwork, as I keep saying, with the legislative framework, the policies that have been put in place, and we've been fortunate to have a consistent minister who's been the ICT minister over the period of years. I think we're seeing the fruits of that strategic thinking, that strategic vision. And we've been fortunate to have those successive governments actually follow up on that. Now, with that being said, to give our closing remarks this afternoon, let me please make welcome to the podium our CEO, Chief Paul Comboy of PNG DataCo Limited.
Thank you once again, and I hope you are excited about the session already been presented today by the team of Oracle. For me this afternoon, just 3 takeaways for you. One is in relation to what the partnership in Oracle will bring to our country, Papua New Guinea. I had the privilege of listening to their CEO, Safra Katz, speaking with my chairman, and I think for Oracle, she mentioned very clearly that they're focusing on relationship. Relationship is really key to them, and what does that mean? In that relationship, what is really underpinning their progress right now and their development in terms of innovation in technology is the time that they're spending or that they demand from their current clients or partners. And that is extended out to DataCo, and we are extending that out to you. We know you have challenges in your businesses, but I think if you can commit yourself and give us the time, we can be able to help transform the nation together. So that is number one message or takeaway for this afternoon. The second one is in relation to data. We know our data is so important to us. I'll emphasize again. And this partnership with Oracle demonstrate already to us their credibility in handling and securing our data. So they can be able to make sure that we protect our privacy in terms of data, and it's secured. That is guaranteed. So that's also very, very key. And with that, it fumes, innovation, like I mentioned, decision making and technologies. And the final one is through the partnership, the continued partnership that we will endeavor towards this journey. You have your own plans, your own platforms, your applications, things that you have innovated already. It's not about changing that. That's the beauty about Oracle. They are very flexible and agile, and so you can bring those to the cloud, the OCI and also the Oracle Alloy that they are offering. That's what we are saying. You are already in the forefront of digital transformation in your own specific area. And we commend you for that, but we have to take it to the next level. The technology is already out there. Experiences from Oracle will accelerate our adoption and our growth together. And so I think with that, I request your continued partnership and support to DataCo again, and now Oracle coming on board, and looking forward to, continue working with you in this journey together. Thank you again for being with us this afternoon.
All right, before we end, just making just a few announcements. Immediately after this, by all means, please partake in the coffee and the tea and the biscuits and buns that are outside. Immediately after that, there will be a Skills Oracle Uni Framework plan. So for those who are invited to that event, do please proceed to the small conference room. And immediately after that, you have the National Identity Registry in parallel with skills meetings. So for those respective representatives that have been given an invite to attend these follow-up meetings that happen immediately after this, please proceed to those designated rooms. Now, with that being said, thank you, everyone, for your time and your attention. I hope you are excited, as the panel is, on the possibilities that await us in this new initiative and this new partnership. I think we're quite pleased to note the fact that this is a partnership between Oracle and DataCo, and of course with the Papua New Guinea government as well. With that being said, I'd like to thank everyone, also our wider listeners, our wider viewers, pardon me, the curse of working on radio, our wider viewers on our platforms on YouTube and on Facebook as well. Thank you very much for your following of these discussions. Again, do please share the videos, share the presentations as well. And for those who might be interested in a copy of the presentations that you've seen, I hope you've left your email at the registry when you did come in. These presentations will be then emailed to you later on in case you have any questions or queries regarding that. But with that being said, thank you, everyone. Have a top safe afternoon and a safe trip home to your respective homes of residence and your families as well. God bless everyone. Thank you.
Okay.